Are you tired of high-pressure tactics?
No, I'm not going to sign that. It's too much.
At Community Auto Group, you'll find we have a straightforward approach.
If other dealers have made you uncomfortable, give Community a try. You'll enjoy your experience here and find a straightforward deal that's right for you, not high-pressure tactics.
Community Auto Group, straightforward deals from the straightforward dealer.
Everybody, and obviously, look forward to getting going this week. Our captains, again, are the same four guys. We got James Morris, Chris Kirksey on the defensive side, Brett Van Sloten, and Mark Weissman offensively. Certainly pleased for both Cavante and BJ being recognized this past weekend. That was a nice feat for those guys. Obviously happy with the win. So, that's all behind us now, and we open up Big Ten play, travel up to play Minnesota, who's got a very good football team, and do it on the road. So, we'll get to work this afternoon and see if we can get ready for it.
About this team heading into this season, maybe some people wondered about is where the big players are going to come from. And it seems that through 4 weeks, when you think back to Cavante last week, and what BJ has done the last 2 weeks, and certainly Damon Powell has made a few plays like that, it seems like you do have some big play capability.
Yeah, Damon kind of the exception, but I'd add Tanner Miller with a couple interceptions, Chris Kirksey had first game. So, for us to have a good football team, our best guys have to step forward, our most experienced guys, and outside of Damon, I think that those other guys certainly fit that bill. And for us to move forward, we're going to need that same kind of production from our veteran guys.
Coach, in some ways, does this Saturday's game feel like an old school football game? Both teams rush it well, stop the run very well.
Yeah, that's probably a fair way to describe it. They're really a physical football team. Similar to last year, but they're a little bit different, obviously, at the quarterback situation now. And then, they are running the ball really well, and it's amazing in some ways because their starting quarterback, at least the guy they started the season with, didn't play the last game and a half, and their best running back, a guy that we had a lot of respect for a year ago, hasn't really played much either. They got two other guys that have stepped up and done a great job, so they're playing really well. They're playing well on defense too, so it should be interesting that way.
You like where your lines are going into this game? It'll be a big test for you on both sides.
We're gaining ground, but this will be a big test for us. They're big and physical offensively. I think they're over 310 average, and we're hardly that kind of size. So it's going to be a real test for us.
Do you ever have a vibe or feel of how your team's coming along at this point, coming out of the non-conference, or do you just have to hit Big Ten to really know?
It's week to week. It's week to week, and you never know what the Big Ten's going to be like either. That's something I try to emphasize to our team in August. The way things look in August or July or June. When everybody's prognosticating and guessing, you just never know what it's going to look like when you get to September, October, November. So it's all week to week, and I just know this: Minnesota looks like they have a really good football team. They've been playing well all four of their games, and they've got some real strengths.
You look back to your 2 games in this stadium where teams haven't played exceptionally well in either one. Any reason for that? Just the way it's gone?
Yeah, part of that's credit to them, but part of that's our, the blame lies at our feet too. So, if we play like we did the last 2 times, we're not going to win the game. I'll make that prediction right now. So I don't know where they're going to be. My guess is they're going to be ready to go, and they've been playing well. And my guess is they'll be ready to go and do the same thing this week. And certainly, we're going to have to be a lot more ready than we were last 2 trips up there.
Different with Leitner and a quarterback with
not dramatically. They're a little different. Number 9's not as big as Leitner, but he might be a hair quicker. I don't know, but they're both very similar. They're both very capable passers, and they're good runners and tough runners. So you have to respect both with both guys.
Kellen and staff have been together since the dawn of time.
Yep.
What particular challenges is that? Because they can draw on a huge batch of experience.
Yeah, to me it's a little bit like when Randy Walker went to Northwestern. Pretty much his staff went with him, and when I came here, our staff came from 9 different places. So I think it makes the transition and the just the whole transition a lot faster and smoother. There's some real advantages to that, and we didn't have that luxury. We came here 15 years ago, and But he certainly has, and the other most important part about it is that they've been successful everywhere they've been. Every stop they've made, they've been well coached, and you can see that in their football team right now. And the record's the same as last year, but they're a much different team. They're much better.
I know divisional play is kind of in its infancy in the Big Ten, but going into league play, it looks to me like that anybody can come out of this division. Do you like where your team sits going in like this?
Yeah, and I'd agree, and then I'd take it a step further. That's what it looks like right now. But things are going to look different in November. So the key is to take care of business week to week, and it's so early to try to predict. So that's the thing about college football, and we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Just every game is so important, because you only get 12 cracks, and now certainly being in conference play / divisional play. That amps it up even more. But, every game really is important on your resume, unlike some other sports. It's the nature of the beast, when you only play 12.
Well, when you go into a season, sometimes you'll look at somebody and go, okay, they're going to be pretty good. It might be tough. Or somebody else is down and they're going to try hard.
No, you guys do that. I don't do that. Other than Ohio State. Ohio State, I've 24 years in the league. They've been pretty good in the 9 I was away. They were pretty good. And, you go back to Paul Brown. So pre-Paul Brown, they've been pretty good. But outside of that, there's always obvious suspects, but that's a fun part about football and sports. You just never know who's going to do what.
Well, meaning that there isn't really an obvious suspect. Everybody has some warts and growth to make in the division. There's no Ohio State's not in the division, for instance. Have you ever recognized a time when it's been kind of like this, such balance, and where anything is possible?
Really since 81, the league's been that way. I think our conference has, the Big Ten Conference, and some years it goes very predictably, other years not so predictably, and but it was very predictable. I know this, the 13 years prior to 81, it was very predictable who was going to win, and since that time you've never known. So, or at least there's been some mystery involved in it, and so whether or not this year turns out that way or not, we'll see. We got a lot of games to play.
What are your feelings about your team's special teams play so far?
Yeah, I think we're moving forward, and that was one of the good things about Saturday beyond the returns. That was, that's obvious, that part. But the best part about the returns, Cavante's effort was good, but the best part to me was that the 10 guys away from the ball were doing a good job. And then there were a lot of things, I think, subtly that took place on special teams that were encouraging. We're not there yet, but at least we're, I think, starting to make some strides, and that was a concern a couple of weeks ago, a big concern.
Is there some ownership being taken by younger players with special teams? I know you're not starting, and then here you go. If
we're going to be good, we need that. Yeah, we need guys embracing that, and otherwise, we're going to wear our other guys out. And if we have to do that, we'll do that. And Minnesota does a really nice job on special teams to that point too. And but yeah, you like to get other guys involved, and that's guys have to embrace it, and then they've got to go out and do the job with it.
The change special teams coaches, has there been any significant change to the way you go about coaching them?
Yeah, it's a different different approach, different. It's kind of like offense and defense for the most part. I try to let the coordinators coordinate, and it's pretty much been that way for 14 years prior. So that part's the same, and Chris has a little different approach to things, but we're in a developmental stage, kind of like our whole football team.
The design that you had on punt return with Riley lined up, not as deep as Cavante, but back there with him. I realize that was to combat Western Michigan last Saturday.
Right.
But is that something that you consider using going forward, regardless of the type of punting you're going up against?
Only it depends on who we're playing. Yeah, if we're worried about the ball hitting the ground, then we'll implement that, and so it might be a situation, or it might be if you play a rugby punt type team, that type of deal. But the whole idea is keep the ball from hitting the ground.
Coach Gill said today that call it an old-fashioned game Saturday. He said he likes that. He thinks it's good for football. Just from a personal standpoint, how do you feel about playing a game like this, where you're not playing guys all over the field, and it's just kind of an old-style smash-mouth football game?
It just depends on the week. Different games come up, different styles of play, and in some ways it's interesting. There's more. I don't know, I haven't done a study on it, but it seems like you're seeing more teams that are using the quarterback as a runner. At least we're seeing that. I'm thinking about the Western Michigan film we had a couple weeks ago. So It's like anything, things rotate and cycle around. But the great thing about college football is, I think, you kind of face everything. As coaches, you face everything, and for fans, they see a little bit of everything during the course of a season. So, this week it's a different style.
Coach Kill talked about how beyond the X's and O's, but his staff as a support group, maybe with going through some of the health issues he's had a little bit, how important is that for a staff to mesh outside the X and O's and film room and all that, but having a staff that one guy can pick up the slack for another guy if need be?
We've been down a similar path maybe with, Norm's, you think about Norm's health issues over the years. But, when you work in close quarters, and I think that's one of the fun things about athletics, most of us involved in it probably enjoy, be it coaches, players. There's a bond that goes beyond like what you do, just what you do. There has to be, because, you spend so many hours together, especially with the coaching staff. So I think most of us probably spend a lot more time together than we do with our wives or our families. So it's just, which is probably true in a lot of professions, but this might go a couple notches beyond. And you go through the highs and lows. So it's just, I'm not surprised they have great camaraderie, especially the staff. His staff's been together for so long. I would think that'd be a real natural thing. And my guess is they all do a great job, when something happens to anybody involved.
What kind of personality does BJ have?
BJ Lowry?
Yeah.
Interesting, actually. He's a really delightful young guy. And
What about him is so interesting?
he plays Monopoly. How's that? Every now and then you know some trivia, right? He's got his own little Monopoly set, and put that one in the Hawkeye Trivia Bank. That's a good one, all right? I was shocked. I said, nobody plays Monopoly. Nobody plays board games anymore. He does. Makes him a dinosaur, doesn't it?
How well has he played for you so far this season?
Monopoly or football? He's doing a really good job. He really he's one of the guys that comes to mind for me of guys that really had outstanding springs. Buffelli's another guy. Connor did a really good job last spring. I think, our linebackers really practiced well. Weissman, I've said that before, but I thought BJ really, he was just going hard on defense and then going really hard, and we spent a lot of time on special teams work, and he's truly a leader there and does a great job on our special teams. So, he's really embraced being an older guy.
I think he's one and only from Cincinnati.